ethical chemist, because I think doing one science is for lazy fucks. So I'm going to talk tonight about whippets. So for those who don't know, a whippet is a kind of dog, often associated with Yorkshire. I'm talking about a particular whippet, the common Yorkshire whippet. And most people think that whippets became associated with Yorkshire because they were brought around the mines to catch all the rats that were around. But this is actually untrue, it's actually the wrong way around. Because the common Yorkshire whippet eats coal. Coal is part of the Yorkshire whippet's diet. And these whippets roam across the Pennines looking for coal to eat, and they've been known to start digging for coal down to depths of up to 1 or 2 miles. So the miners used to follow around the whippets, and when they found the whippets start digging, they used to put a mine shaft down. Actually, I know nothing about whippets. None of that's true. I'm not going to talk about science at all. I'm going to talk about love. I'm going to talk about a relationship that's come to me out of science. I'm going to talk about Katie. Now, if we were on a TV show, when I said Katie, there'd be a sort of dream sequence and harps would play in the background. So imagine when I say Katie's happened, so I go, Katie, doodle-doodle-doodle. So I met Katie back when I was doing my master's project about 3 years ago. And at first I was really nervous because like she was like way out, like she was so smart, and like she was just so good at science. She was this science machine, and like I was really nervous because like I was this pet little undergrad sort of wandering around. But I got in, I started working with her for a while, and like we got on really well, and like I had a really good time. So then I went away for a while. I went to spend a year in Glasgow. I got a nice scar here where I got stabbed, and then I went back. I was worried at first that things would be different, things wouldn't be quite the same, but like everything, we picked where we left off, and like she was still amazing at science. She was like, never out of the lab or anything, and so like I suppose I should tell you what she's like, and like she's quite pale, like, and like how tall is it? Excuse me, darling. How tall are you? Like roughly.
5'4".
5'4". I think she's well. Katie's probably about 5 foot by 4 foot by 2 foot. I'm what, 15 stone, so she's maybe 2 tons. Yeah, Katie's not actually a girl. You may have guessed. Katie's actually a machine. She's not a mystery machine. She hates when I call her a machine. She's an instrument. She's actually a mass spectrometer. And like, I know she shouldn't actually have a name. Her real name is Q-Toff. But Q-Toff isn't really a girl's name, so I call her Kate. And I find when I call her Katie, I get on better. It's like a day in the lab is like a day with your friend. So I'll say like what I like to do and what a mass spectrometer does is, so what I do is I weigh things. So imagine if you had to work something well just by weighing it, what you do. So I work on molecules, it's easy if I up the scale. So let's say I got something that weighs 19 stone. Now Boris Johnson weighs 19 stone. But like it might be him. Also at 19 stone is the penis of a blue whale. Now of course one of these is a giant cock, and the other one is part of a blue whale. Now, of course, we might not always have like one thing. So, like the first thing we do is we take whatever we've weighed and we break it apart. So, if I got out an axe and I started hacking away at the penis of a blue whale, first I'd be arrested, most likely. But then, like, I'd get little slivers of blue whale penis. I'd then sell on as sushi. But then, if I start hacking up Boris Johnson, I'd get Boris Johnson's head, and Boris Johnson's legs, and Boris Johnson's arms, and I know how much all these weigh, because Wikipedia is fucking brilliant. So I can see all these little weights, and I can work out what I've got. But like sometimes I can get like 2 of things. So like if I've got 19 stone, I might have 3 tables. I might have 60 chickens. I might have 7 leprechauns with butcher knives. I just don't know. So I hack things to pieces and I see what like, I get the weights at, and like, I work out what I've got. So in my lab I've got Katie, and like because like I I like to think she's real, so I thought I'd give her a persona. So in my mind, Katie is from this small town in Maine, and she moved to England to be a waitress, but ended up working a mass spectrometer to pay the bills. And this is how I think Katie is in my mind. I've got another instrument. He came from a lab in France. And he likes it when you speak French to him. If you go in and speak French, you get better data. He acts very European some days. And suddenly he'll go in and say, "Come on, Pierre, let's do some science." And he'll say, "Bonjour, Pierre, let's do some science in French." And he'll say to you, "No, today I do no science. I have ennui. I am going to contemplate the meaning of science." And for the day, he'll do no science, no matter how much you get nothing done. And one day I went in, he was smoking in the lab. I mean, literally, he was on fire. Had to run it. And we often have these covers on our machine, and they're always off. So in my mind, he's like he's shirtless. He's just laying around, like on his shades long. We've got another instrument, to me she's like a grandma. So you go in and she'll say, "Morning," and she'll be like, "Morning, dear. I've baked you an 18-course roast dinner of science." And of course it's your grandma's, it's an amazing roast dinner of science. But then the next day, she'll fall downstairs and break a gasket. Then she can't do it for the next 6 weeks, so you sit and repair her. We've got one more instrument that's on the way, but we don't actually know much about it. We just see these photos that appear, those odd bits of science, and we don't know much about it. It's kind of like just a name on the wind. It's a whisper in the shadows. It's basically like Zorro. It's the Zorro of mass spectrometers that's going to appear. And one day it's just going to run in with the data and see a burning Z on the carpet. And no one will see him come or go over, it'll just do amazing science in the night. But the story of me and Katie, it takes a dark turn here. It gets quite sad because there's another man. And this man doesn't love Katie like I do. He loves it. See, he loves it. He wants to change it. He wants to do horrible things to her. What he wants to do is attach a 1.5 metre steel tube to the front of her. Which, don't know about you, but it's kind of phallic. So basically, he's going to take my beautiful, sweet Katie from the small town in Maine and turn her into a giant science she-male. So basically, she's going to be like the bride of Frankenstein, if Frankenstein's bride was a mass spectrometer who hacked apart Boris Johnson and had a wang. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm Nortcliffe. Thank you very much.